You're yelling at your dog to stop barking. They bark louder. You're shouting no as they jump on the couch. They do it again. You're raising your voice and your dog looks excited, almost happy. Why does yelling make behavior worse instead of better? The answer will completely change how you communicate with your dog. It starts with understanding that dogs don't hear language the way you think. Imagine someone shouting at you in Mandarin Chinese. You don't speak Mandarin. All you can process is volume, tone, pitch, rhythm. You don't know if they're warning you or just talking about their day. That's what yelling sounds like to your dog. They don't understand the words. They don't know you're saying stop it. All they hear is loud noise with emotional tone attached. Here's what science tells us. Dogs can learn to recognize about 165 words on average. But they're not processing those words as language the way humans do. They're processing them as distinct sound patterns associated with specific outcomes. When you say sit, your dog doesn't translate that into a concept. They've learned through repetition that the sound sit predicts a reward. It's associative learning, not linguistic comprehension. Now add yelling into the mix. When you yell, you're changing the sound pattern dramatically. The word sit said calmly is a completely different auditory stimulus than sit yelled loudly. To your dog's brain, these might as well be two different words. You've trained one, not the other. This is why dogs look confused when you yell commands. They're not being stubborn. They literally don't recognize the sound pattern you're making. But there's something even more important happening. Dogs are experts at reading emotional tone. A 2016 study found that dogs process emotional vocalizations in the same brain region humans do. They're hardwired to detect anger, fear, happiness, and excitement in your voice. When you yell, your dog picks up that you're emotionally aroused. But they don't know why. They don't connect your emotional state to their behavior. They just know you're upset. And here's where it gets really problematic. For many dogs, high-pitched, excited human voices sound like play signals. Think about how people talk to puppies. High energy, loud, enthusiastic. Now think about how people yell. Often high-pitched, loud, emotionally intense. To some dogs, especially young ones, yelling sounds like you're joining in on the fun. This is why your dog gets more excited when you yell at them to stop. They think you're playing. They think you're hyping them up. Let's talk about what yelling does to the dog's stress system. When you yell, you're activating your dog's sympathetic nervous system. This is the fight-or-flight response. Cortisol floods their system. Here's the problem. Stress impairs learning. A stressed brain cannot process new information effectively. When your dog is stressed from being yelled at, they can't learn what you want. You're creating the opposite of a teaching moment. You're creating a moment where their brain is focused on survival, not understanding. If yelling happens frequently, you're creating something even worse. Learned helplessness. This is where the dog stops trying to respond because nothing makes the yelling stop. They shut down. They become anxious, sometimes fearful. From the dog's perspective, you're an unpredictable source of stress. They don't feel safe with you. That's not training. That's breaking trust. Now let me tell you what actually works. Dogs respond to calm, consistent, clear communication. Lower your voice instead of raising it. A calm, low tone is much more effective than a shrill yell. It's distinct from your normal voice. It stands out. It signals that something has changed without triggering the stress response. Professional trainers call this tone an interrupter. It breaks the dog's focus without scaring them. Pair that calm tone with a clear command they've actually been trained to understand. Instead of yelling, stop it, which means nothing, use a command they know. If they're jumping, say off. If they're barking, use quiet. If they're grabbing something, use leave it. These are trained cues with established meaning. Your dog's brain can actually process them. Here's the other game changer. Reward the behavior you want instead of punishing the behavior you don't want. Dogs repeat behaviors that have been reinforced. If you catch your dog being calm when they'd normally bark, reward that. You're teaching their brain that quiet behavior is valuable. Over time, the brain will choose that behavior more often because it predicts good outcomes. This is operant conditioning, and it's far more powerful than yelling could ever be. Let's address the big question. What about when my dog is doing something dangerous? What if they're about to run into the street or grab something toxic? In a genuine emergency, a loud, sharp sound can work as a startle to interrupt behavior. But that's not the same as yelling words at your dog. A sharp hey or even a clap is a neutral auditory interrupt. It's not emotionally loaded. It breaks focus. Then you immediately redirect to a safe behavior and reward that. You don't build a relationship on emergencies. You build it on daily interactions. And those should be calm and clear. Here's something most dog owners don't realize. Your dog is always learning. Every interaction is training. When you yell and your dog stops, you think it worked. But look closer. Did they stop because they understood what you wanted? Or did they stop because you scared them? If it's fear, that's not training. That's suppression through intimidation. The behavior will come back, often worse, because you haven't addressed the underlying motivation. You've just taught your dog to fear you. Compare that to a dog trained with calm, clear, positive methods. They respond to your voice because it predicts good things. They check in with you because you're a source of guidance and reward, not stress. That dog is listening because they want to, not because they're afraid. That's the relationship you want. That's what makes training easier, faster, and more reliable. One more thing. Your tone teaches your dog about the world. If you yell at them for investigating something, you're teaching them that exploration is bad. If you yell when they make a mistake, you're teaching them that trying is risky. Dogs trained with yelling become hesitant, anxious, less confident. Dogs trained with calm reinforcement become curious, engaged, and willing to learn. Your tone isn't just about that one moment. It's shaping your dog's entire personality. So here's my challenge to you. For the next week, commit to not yelling at your dog, not once. When you feel the urge, take a breath, lower your voice, and use a calm cue instead. Watch what happens. Faster responses, less stress in your dog, and honestly, less stress in yourself. Yelling is exhausting. Calm training is sustainable. And it works better. If this is changing how you talk to your dog, subscribe. We're breaking down the psychology behind every dog behavior. Comment and tell me, have you been a yeller? Are you ready to try something different? Let's figure this out together. See you next video.